All right, Saturday, I'm going to make a video. If you're wondering, this shirt says, "There is not a bus I would not throw you under to save my Pomeranian," because that's a fact. I like him way more than I do like most people, but let's get into it. This is me reading and responding to comments. And let me tell you, boy, I get some wild ones. Like, okay, here this first one. I mean, you can tell he's responding to my Trench Crusade creators are evil and racist, in addition to stupid. Sir Francis Drug, funny that he uses a Russian word. And he gives you the first grader equivalent of arguing against religion, which is, how can the forces of hell be evil when God created the universe and everything in it, including hell? If anything, God is evil since he created them to perform those actions. See, this is a guy who either hasn't read scripture or spends too much time listening to idiots like Thunderfoot or whatever. Um, God created everything, and everything was good for a very long time. And then some of his sons, creations, angels, whatever, uh, because of their pridefulness and uh, lust and various other things that they, you know, decided not to resist and to pursue, they become evil and rebelled against God, trying to overthrow the throne. But unfortunately for them, they were, encountered by the Archangel Michael, who curb stomped a lot of them and threw their asses out of heaven. So God did not create evil, right? They chose to be evil. Now, your next argument would be like, well, God knew they would. Well, that's not necessarily true. Free will means God knows what's going to happen, but the Father steps back and lets you make your own choices. And just because you could choose evil, don't mean you have to, right? Again, free will. So, no, there is no preordination in Christianity. Things are not destined to be a way um, for an individual, etc. The only predestined thing is that at one point Christ will return, and he will put a beat down on all the evil people on earth. That's it. So, at Sir Francis Drug, you're an idiot. And hooray. All right. Now we get Benjamin Rose. Benjamin Rose. He says he's really upset. BMC never said he was ashamed of his ancestors. He didn't have to say that directly. Black Magic Craft, the way he was being a whiny, self-loathing bitch, said that. So, whatever. This video is far more cringy. Being an internet troll, oh my God, an internet troll just makes you a self-righteous loser. Yes, I'm sure I'm a loser compared to you. Proud to unfollow. I don't think he ever followed me. But my response to you is, yeah, watch the video. He's definitely being a bitch. And I'm glad you unfollowed, because I don't want people like you following me. You will not be missed. Okay, let's see. By the way, I think Bruce Lombardo might be running his game this today. Jose Pablo says, if the creators are evil, it is good I have not bought that game. The thing, okay, Jose, I agree with you. If your idea is I'm not supporting evil, I totally agree with that sentiment entirely. The good news is if you did want to play the game, you don't have to support the creators in any way. There are STLs for anything you might want from people who are probably not crazy, and you can substitute them in and whatever. However, I respect the fact that you don't want to support evil people, and good on you for that. Good on you. Yeah. All right. I keep having a hard time getting to this one. I don't have a mouse. I hate not having a mouse. I need to buy a mouse. Girlamo says the reason they're evil, why are leftists so evil, is they've been raised since the 60s to worship evil. Guillermo, I agree. I think you're 100% correct. And so let me give you a thumbs up. Yeah, I agree, Guillermo. They have been taught to be evil, and they are evil. All right, now moving on. I posted a post showing me back up in Appalachia, and my buddy Bruce of Bruce Lombardo and the gaming and all that, he's like, enjoy your time back in familiar territory. Well, I did, Bruce. It was amazing. It was nice and cool. Creeks everywhere, rocks everywhere. I mean, it's Appalachia. Holy Diver says, I wish Wizards of the Coast would hire you, if only to fix the game. And here's the thing: if they hired me, I would demand like full control over design and everything like that. Meaning, if I wanted to fire somebody, I could fire them and nobody could say a word about it. And I'd basically run the place like a dictator. That being said, I would work for, I don't know, 40 grand a year. And I would get shit done. And then after I got the game done, they could lay me off like they always do. And that would be fine. I mean, I'd have to do a lot of remote work though, because no way I'm moving to the left coast. But Holy Diver, great guy. He does a Saturday morning thing, which I slept past again because he's way over on the left side of the country. And I always sleep in on Saturday, so bleh. I always watch it after the fact, though, while I'm painting or something. If I'm not actually, doing some other thing, I always watch. BGV Tan Vatten, BGC Vatten, he says, praise Yakub. I agree. Praise Yakub. The super intelligent person that created the white race. Decado, my boy Decado. I do, in fact, enjoy myself some Decado stuff. He does live gaming, Castles and Crusades, and other games. Really good guy. Scott is going deeper into his delusions. Agreed. We're talking about Garrity here. All of his recent videos show that his mental stability is declining, or it's kayfading. Add that to the fact he doesn't do any research about the things that he spits out of his flapping maw. True. For example, back when Strixhaven released, he raved on in multiple videos about how Amanda Harmon changed D&D. There's read more. So let me click read more. Forever with social interaction rules that were included with Strixhaven. What he failed to admit was it was released that it was actually Jeremy Crawford who created those rules. And Strixhaven was a flop, I know. Other DI, EI hire made a self-insert character that even he criticized. His delusions come so fast he cannot keep them straight. Wizard of the Coast, D&D are cooked. They have zero talent working there. That is a fact. And I'm not even a fan of Perkins or Jeremy Crawford. I am a fan of Kevin Crawford, though. The people they got left there, I don't know. It's like I don't know what they're thinking. X GNR Prime. So let's see. Classic, laugh my ass off. Scott Garby, it's no coincidence to me that Orion Akaba, who you seem to have a crush on for his mischievous antics, has a similar degree of born with Sun in Libra as Sacha Baron Cohen, you know, the Barak character, and Ali D. But that's not the subject of this video from Yakub here, unless you really have been adopting Sacha Baron Cohen's shtick as an actor, which is what I've always thought, that it was all fake. That is quite impressive if you really don't mean your bullshit you proclaim beyond dramatic game to get free rent people's heads. If that was your mission all along, congratulations. If not, have nice effing nervous breakdown, shitting your pants in public. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. That's something. At 31, gold, James. I don't know what he's talking about, but Coco B, Coco Beware. Coco B, I'm glad you appreciated any single second of the video. The reason I decided to break out Yakub to respond to Scott is because he kept saying white men, white men, white men. And I was just like, I decided, yeah. Okay, so we got some Darkwire saying something. Scott's starting to believe his own technology. All Yakubians know this is a mistake. Yes. And that was Michael Stronghold. Dark Winter. No, they're not. He's still only talking about himself. I'm not 100% sure what you mean there, buddy. Unless he's trying to imply Wizard of the Coast does not have a racism problem. I do. So, okay. I mean, I don't care. Honestly, if anybody thinks I'm a racist or not, I really do not care. I probably should, but I don't, you know. Maybe if I was still at work and, you know, working at the fire department and worried about shit like, you know, politics and stuff, I would care, but I don't. Yes, indeed. I made the mistake of picking it up. Oh, Strixhaven. Dreadful waste of space. Agreed, Dark Winter. Agreed. He means himself, Scott, probably. It's like Scott is weird because he's on Wizard of the Coast dick so hard, but they would never hire him because he's a white guy. Shadow calling me the Grand Poobah. Definitely not the Grand Poobah because I am not a member of the Sacred Water Buffalo thing, but thank you. Mm-hmm. Not your echo. Garibay, I'll assume everything you say relating to people not white is racist in nature because you're white. Garibay is a sanity spiraling idiot. Yes. Um, and like I said, it was Garibay that felt the need to ask if, or to state, so they got rid of these white men, right? And it's like, why did you have to say none of that? I mean, we all know who Chris Perkins is. We all know who Jeremy Crawford is. It would have been so easy to just be like, so Jeremy Crawford and whatever's gone. And now they're saying there's no talent there. But in reality, I think these random DEI hires are talented, blah, blah, blah. And then, yes, you still could have made fun of him, but at least it would have been over something else. Ask my wife if she's offended if Grand Wizards of the Coast fired all of their content creators. She said she had no idea what I was talking about. Yeah, that was my wife. I was like, "Are you offended?" And the answer is no. Nobody's offended. I mean, Scott trying to be offended for women. It's like, Scott, you've got a wife. You don't need to be worried about impressing the ladies. Grognard Prime, 3830. I studied a lot of Shauner's videos since he passed. His trip was criticizing other people's gaming videos. It was their styles, their BS superficial dorkiness, their fumbling, goofy little flaws, and how they didn't conform to his code. But at least Shauner wrote and published a code. That's true. He did. Role playing the hard way. I don't know if he gave me a credit or not, but I helped him with that. Like he sent me the pre-release stuff and asked my opinion. Diversity and Dragon says he almost made this one. Hey, bro. Diversity and Dragons, if you listen to this any day, you let me know and we'll hang. Maybe just me and you and just bullshit around about whatever you want. You know what I mean? And of course, I'll talk a lot too because oh, this is me. Why are that leftists evil? Wow. How about they don't believe in your religion? True. They don't believe in my religion. They believe in evil. My religion is good. And they believe in evil. Guillermo says, well, that's great. We don't believe in your religion. And yes, atheism is a religion. Atheism is worse than a religion. Atheism is just Satanism that has been whitewashed to fool idiots that they, under normal circumstances, because of cultural issues, they would never want to claim Satanism for whatever reason. So they claim atheism, even though they don't seem to understand that it's the same thing. Okay. Off-Grid Gamer says that excellent observation on a meme I made. Thank you, Off-Grid Gamer. One of my Canuckastani brothers. Yeah. Yeah, the thing is, anything with Satanic Rainbow goes on the burn pile. The thing is the rainbow was supposed to be God's promise not to jack up the earth with a flood, and they stole it. So, it's like whatever, right? Okay. I'm hoping that's UPS man delivering my resin. Okay, so Israel Powell, I don't recognize the name, so thank you for commenting. I would definitely play a game like Baptism of Fire. It looks so great. It is great. Though being a Christian may make it easier for me. Would definitely choose a holy warrior, same, if available. I did have a player once that wanted to play a paladin, but not have a god. I did not allow it. Made no sense to me. He read the part in 5e. Oh, I see. You had a player who wanted to play a atheist paladin, and you were like, hey, no. And you know what? You were right to do that. This 5e thing, again, it's part of the, so it's like they had the satanic panic against Gary Gygax, who was not doing anything satanic. But Wizard of the Coast has been doing things that are blatantly satanic right in front of your face, and people are ignoring it. You know what I mean? Or just too stupid to pay attention, or too jaded to, you know, whatever television, everything has made it seem so normal. Why would anyone be surprised that people think destroying an unlimited number of babies because women say so, and or because women know want, don't see immorality in demons that abuse, torture, and sacrifice them? Both groups are sacrificing the innocent and vulnerable to their worldview. It gets even worse than that, not your echo. Moloch and Baal, Astaroth, Lilith, etc. These are greater demons that actually demand the sacrifice of children. So instead of a priest and a big fire, it's a doctor and an incinerator. But really, nothing has changed. They are still making sacrifice and to their demonic lords. The topic, people. Team Mustache Man bad because they want to abuse and harm a group of people. Same topic, people. Demons that want to abuse, torture, and remove all humans are good. Imagine how broken a mind has to be. Yeah, cognizant dissonance. To think that it's morality, and further, they are particularly morally enlightened. Yes, they do live in an upside down world, comrade. They do. Their whole everything is uh it's super backwards, you know. And then they'll try to say that babies don't count as life and blah blah blah. But Andrew Jackson, oh hickory, gatekeeping is important, not a dirty word. You must gatekeep. Always guard what you love with great suspicion and jealousy. Always. I agree. Everything worth an F is behind a gate. True. True, not your echo. Off grid. And don't take advice from false shepherds. That is amazing advice. I may be guilty of that. The only time they're against gatekeeping is when they don't have control of the gate. Wow. Okay, Guillermo, that is actually 100% a fact. And loving it. Absolutely. Okay, James, what's the context? Oh, I think the context is that on the top it shows an African village and it's an absolute shithole. And on the bottom it shows some village in Denmark and it's clean and beautiful and not an absolute shithole. So the context is that places like Africa with a preponderance or with a huge portion of a certain ethnicity don't ever seem to be able to get their shit together. And yet they blame us and create Wakanda, which is like a complete fantasy because south of the Atlas Mountains, that continent has really never produced anything worthwhile. And some people will say, well, how about Musamasa or whatever? And, you know, what about Timbuktu and stuff? At the end of the day, these were, you know, clay brick baked buildings and stuff like that, and people run around wearing leopard hides during a period when we were carving temples out of marble and building them with mathematical precision that even to this day is like, wow. That is the context. So a person could say that meme was slightly racist, but I don't think it's racist to just point out reality. And while I would love, and I'm a huge proponent of America supporting Liberia, since Liberia should be like a territory anyway, since we created it. It is just a reality that they have just never got their shit together. And no, you cannot blame slavery because, you know, everyone in the Balkans was enslaved at one point or another by Ottoman Turks. And yet they, tried to do better. So, anyway, I'm going to end it there. That's some comments and my responses. Boom, boom, boom.